Hi, I'm Brenda Bashira with the Bashira Real Estate team at Keller Williams, and today we're going to try to answer the question if we are currently in a real estate bubble. So, what is a real estate bubble? A real estate bubble is the run up of home prices that is typically fueled either by an exaggerated amount of demand and or low inventory. Prices go up until, of course, it's no longer sustainable, housing is no longer affordable, and then the bubble pops. So let's now talk about what happened during the last real estate bubble. So between 2000 and 2006, there was about 3.5 to 4 months of inventory on average. And that's typically considered a balanced market. But what we did see last time was that we saw an exaggerated amount of demand on housing. We saw that after the dot-com crash, investors pulled their money out of other investments and decided to go into real estate because it was a safe investment. And that increased demand, plus the speculators that thought, ooh, home prices are going to go up, that also exaggerated the amount of demand. In addition to that, we had the government that was trying to tweak the mild recession that we were starting to experience around the time of 9/11. And so we had interest rates fairly low, very, very low back then as well. And also what we saw was that the government was really pushing for home ownership and asking lenders to relax their guidelines and their lending practices to get more and more people into homes. So all of a sudden, home ownership became a reality for a lot of people, and that increased demand was unsustainable for the amount of inventory that was available. So of course, then the bubble popped once these people got into homes and of course couldn't afford them. So now let's fast forward to where we are today, and let's talk about what's driving the current increase in home prices. Right now, we are seeing historical lows on inventory as never. This is a record breaking. We see now 1.9 months of inventory nationally, which is unheard of. So we are really experiencing low inventory versus what happened in 2006, where the inventory was actually fairly balanced, just the demand had increased. So now what we're really seeing is low inventory, and that is happening because of several reasons. One, what we see is that because of COVID, last year, people that would have normally have moved, whether it be, moved to a bigger house, smaller house, or whatever, they just decided, hey, let's stay put with the health crisis. Let's not make a move. And they've sort of sat it out. So all that inventory that would have typically sort of hit the market naturally did not happen. And that was delayed. In addition to that, we also know that when COVID hit and people lost their jobs, the government put a moratorium on foreclosures. So we have about right now 5 million plus people in forbearance that are in a foreclosure status, but they're not allowing them to foreclose on. And some of those would have naturally hit. Typically, of course, that's probably an exaggerated amount right now because of unemployment. But we've got about that 5 million represents 5 months of inventory that, as once it gets released, it's going to help some of that inventory. In addition to that, from the last real estate bubble, builders really went out of business. So many builders went out of business. And so new home builds were at a record low. And I'm putting that up here. Hopefully you see that. And it's taken this long to catch up to where they were building back in like 2006. So all of those three things represents the reason that we do not have enough inventory. Now, how the forbearances hit the market will be interesting to watch and see, are they going to trickle or are they going to all come in at once? That could really affect whether we get into a bubble. And then, of course, once that pent up demand or, wanting to sell, when those people finally say, okay, I'm ready to move, when those sellers hit the market, that'll be interesting to see as well. So at this point, based on where we are, the 4-year 4% appreciation trend, that's the natural amount of what we call a healthy real estate market is between 2 and 4% of appreciation. And that's what this slide is right here. And as you can see, we haven't hit that trend mark yet. So right now I would say we're not in a bubble, but I will say that there is going to be very interesting soon what's going to happen with the forbearances. Are those all going to hit the market at once? We really don't know how that's going to work out. Now that new builds are back to almost a regular number from 2006, then we'll know more what's going to happen. But right now we haven't hit that 4% trend mark. So I'm not sure that we can really say we are. This year is really going to be the determining factor. So if you have any questions about what we just talked about or about anything else, we're always here to help. Give us a call. Thanks so much.